I wish that was like 100% a joke.
Oh, he's not?
No, he's done for the year.
Really? What happened?
Some days we're like, this person has a coach.
Probably like late August.
Something that time.
I didn't realize it had been that long.
Yeah, and they've just been kind of pieced together. Yeah, since then, I mean, they're resilient. When you start getting these 5-game series, I don't know how much longer that pitching is still.
Is that the three? Is that the three or the two?
I think it's the this one. I think it's the 3.
I got the 4. I just never used it. I need to.
Well, good morning. We're definitely excited about this week. I know our players are looking forward to playing a top-quality opponent like Notre Dame in front of a great atmosphere at our stadium, and it's just a tremendous opportunity for our football team this Saturday night. So, once again, we got to learn from the last game and how to correct some mistakes and get better and be more efficient and try to play as solid as we can for 60 minutes, and we'll work hard on this week on doing that and also preparing for Notre Dame. I think when you look at Notre Dame, extremely talented, very good on film, very, very strong on defense, strong, athletic, will cover you. They rank in the top in the nation in a lot of categories, so it'll be a challenge for us to be efficient and move the football. And on offense, they're going to pound you and run the football and utilize their experienced quarterback, really good running back, and tight end, and work from there. So we'll have our hands full. We're going to have to, win a lot of the small battles, not turn the ball over, be efficient, be good in the red zone, find ways to get turnovers, and that's going to be the recipe for trying to come out with a victory. But I know we're looking forward to playing a really high quality opponent on our home field.
What was NC State able to do to make it as hard as it was to run the ball compared to the previous games before that?
Well, NC State blitzed us, and they blitzed us a lot. And they had everybody up there stopping the run and getting after the quarterback. And obviously we didn't have enough good answers to counter that. I think as we look back on it, finding ways to have answers for all-out pressure. I mean, this was all-out pressure, cover zero pressure that I could have done a better job of helping us protect some things up and throw the ball over their head. I think when we finally made plays, it was throwing the ball over their head because they were sitting on routes, stacking the box, and coming after the quarterback. We missed a few things protection-wise, but you know what? We could have had a better answer for all that as we look back on it. So that's on me. So we got to make sure that we got to help our quarterback. Anytime your quarterback gets hit a lot, it's going to affect him. It affected their quarterback as well. So I just think it was a good defensive battle that luckily we found a way to get enough plays in the second half to get some points. But it was tough to get running yards with all those guys stacked up in there.
When you have a ranked matchup, sold-out crowd, primetime TV, all the fanfare, how do you keep that from being too much of a distraction to practice and keeping your guys locked in?
I actually don't think it'll be a distraction. Our guys have worked really hard. They know what's ahead of us. We try to treat everything as a one-game season. Without question, this is a unbelievable opportunity for our football team to go out and play a high-quality opponent. And, as I've said earlier in the season, the schedule just continues to get tougher and tougher and more challenging, which means we got to get better and better. And we have to get better each and every week in order to win. And that'll be a constant throughout the rest of the season. And it'll start this week. But you know what? When you have your fans behind you and on the field and loud and in the stands, you gotta feed off that. So we got to find ways to be efficient, make some plays, get them behind us, affect the other team, and use that as ways to gain an advantage.
How does it make you feel being the older brother and seeing your brother get the recognition that he so rightfully deserves?
Well, I'm glad you reminded me of that. I forgot all about that. Brian is our little brother, but yes, he's very talented and he's accomplished a lot. I think he was a great player, and I think we all got a chance to watch him play. Just a tremendous passing quarterback who did a lot of great things. And I think now that we have him on staff, he's bright, he's very smart, he's always had great poise in the pocket and very calm, unlike myself. So I applaud him for that. And he helps our quarterback. So I just think, any great players that we've had come through here, it's great to recognize. And obviously Brian did some great things. So we're definitely very happy for him. And hopefully we can have a good day on Saturday.
Hartman's a very experienced guy, been around for a while. He had one of the worst games of his career here last year. When you go against him, what are the things that you have to be most aware of, and what does he do most effectively?
Well, anytime you have that experience, it's a plus, and he definitely utilizes that. He's very calm in the pocket. He's played a lot of football. He's played a lot of different offenses. This offense fits him very well because they run the football, utilize the tight ends, ask him to do enough but not carry the football team on his back. But when he has to, he can do that for sure. So I think as you watch him play, just like every quarterback, and just what they did to him here last year, if you can apply some pressure and get after him and make the decisions harder for him, cover receivers tighter and get in the backfield, it affects everybody. And it definitely affected him this past year when they played him. So that's a key for everybody, and definitely for a guy with his type of experience. As you look at the last game against Duke, he was very efficient. There was a period there where they got after him and blitzed him quite a bit, and they had him on his heels. And then when they dropped 8 on 4th and 16 to try to seal the game, he made him pay for it. So I just think he's very smart. He's very intelligent. He's played a lot of football, and if you make one or two mistakes, he's going to capitalize and score and turn it into touchdowns.
Jeff, a couple questions. Number one, defensively for Notre Dame, are they any similar to NC State, or did they do things totally different? And when you were at Trinity and got to be a senior, I know Notre Dame came after Brian and
Well, going back to Notre Dame defense, this will be the most talented defense we'll play to date, without question. I mean, they've got talent and size and athleticism at all the positions. Up front, they're big and stout and stop the run and get after the quarterback. The linebacking core is athletic. They can run and tackle, and it shows up on film. And in the secondary, some really, really good players, led by a dominant corner on one side, and they don't give up many yards in the passing game. So they're going to guard you and man you up and going to apply pressure at the same time and not give up a lot of easy completions. So, this is it'll be a great challenge for us on offense to be efficient, move the ball, and get points. When it comes to Notre Dame, I think anytime you go to the high school we went to, Notre Dame is a part of the action. And yeah, they recruited me. At the time, I had a scholarship offer there, but they had Rick Meyer as a commitment, who's the #1 quarterback in the country. So even though I'm not real smart, I knew that, I probably shouldn't go there. And if Rick Meyer's going there, if I want to see the field, so that ruled that one out. But a ton of history, ton of tradition, won a lot of football games, and I think anytime you get a chance to play them, it's exciting for your players and your fans.
Jeff, even though the yards weren't there for Jawar, what kind of things did you see on tape, where he was trying to adjust to that, trying to push harder, and how do you feel like an experience like that will help him going forward?
Well, Jawar did a fine job. There just wasn't a whole lot of holes to open, a whole lot of holes to run in. And, we tried to establish a little bit of run early on, got a few chunks here and there, and then I think they just kind of bottled us up and then, of course, got a lead, which does affect the amount of runs that you're going to be able to run if you're trying to make a comeback. I think we, finally made a few plays in the passing game in the second half to help kind of get us going. But, yes, we'd like to find the ways to get him a little more space to run the football because that's when he's at his best. But he played hard. He hung in there, and it was just one of those games where, the running game wasn't as efficient as we would like it to be. And I think that's why you got to be good at both. And it doesn't mean you got to be 50-50. You just got to be good at both, because you never know when you're going to have to use each and every one of those. So luckily, we had some success in the passing game to help us come back and get a lead. And I just think we have to continue to, execute both the running and passing game. And without question, our best players, including Jawar, need to touch the ball quite a bit.
Jeff, just curious, Marcus Freeman was on the staff that you guys replaced at Purdue.
Who'd you say?
Marcus Freeman.
Oh, yes.
I'm just curious if you guys had any conversations during that kind of crossover, or talking, or was there any consideration of bringing him on the staff when you're at Purdue that first year?
Well, sure there was. I think Marcus is a really, really fine coach. He's coached a lot of football. He was a great player. Anytime you come in as a new staff, you talk to everybody and see where everything stands. And he had opportunities, and things didn't happen where we kept him on there. But he went and had great success since, and he's done a great job as a defensive coordinator and as a head coach. He's at one of the most prestigious schools in the country, leading them right now, and they're playing really good football at a high level. So I think he's done a fantastic job. So he's got really good coaches on his staff, and we're going to have our hands full. We're going to have to coach well, play well, and really be efficient in how we're doing things in all three segments, because this is a well-coached football team led by Coach Freeman.
Then obviously you guys had a lot of transfers come in, new system and everything, but I guess what do you attribute to just things working as well as they have in terms of just guys making big plays and, the defense coming up the way that they have been able to last week?
Well, I think one of the things we really don't talk about all the new players we're going to have this past year, because I think it's going to happen every year. I think every year you're going to have, new players arrive with the way this transfer portal is set up. So what you do is you get them here as fast as you can, hopefully get them here in the spring. If not, you get them here in the summer. There's times in the summer months to kind of get them on the field on their own and get a plan together where they can work on their own without us legally being out there, and which you have to utilize. And then in fall camp, you got to put it all together, and you've got to get as many reps in as you can. So I think that, our guys have practiced a lot. They should understand what we're doing. Obviously, there's some nuances that we got to continue to correct that does take a little time. There were some things in the past game we weren't as precise on that we need to be better at and crisper at, so we got to work hard at getting better at that. But these guys have worked hard, and they play hard, and they play to the end. So I give them all the credit. They hung in there when things didn't look good at halftime and we hadn't scored a point. We're down by 10 points, and they were positive, and they knew we'd kind of been there before, down at halftime and up at halftime, and things didn't go as well. So we just had to, figure it out and play hard. And but they were into it, and I give them a lot of credit. They played hard to the very end. They finished the game. They didn't give up. They don't point fingers, and they know that, because we talk about it. They know that, every game is probably going to be like that. If we can have some that aren't, that's great. But every game is going to go down to the wire, and you've got to be able to just hang in there and play tough for 60 minutes and block out a couple of negative things that happen along the way and just kind of try to overcome it. And when it's over, you look at the scoreboard and hope that you have enough points. But these guys have done a good job at this point.
Three-part question. In a state that doesn't historically produce a lot of elite prospects, you and Kentucky are both 5-0, both ranked. How do you explain that? Do you think it's sustainable? And how much does NIL play into that?
Well, I just think that, I can speak for us. You try to put a plan together and go out there and try to win football games. And through 5 games, we've been able to do just enough to get that done. So beyond that, I don't know what's going to happen the next week or the next week. So I just think we got to continue to get better and work through it. And we'll see what our record is at the end. And that's kind of how we approach it. But I know up the road they've had a good start. They're well coached. They've had success. They can run the football. They play great defense. And I think anytime you can play great defense and run the football, you're going to have a chance to win. So if you can get those elements going and find a way to be effective in the passing game to create big plays, you should have a chance to win in every game, as long as you're doing the small things. And other than that, it's nothing more than trying to do our part as coaches and our part as players and go out there and compete to win. And right now, we've got off to a pretty decent start, and so have they. So we just got to continue on our part. We have bigger challenges ahead of us. We got to figure out ways to win the next football game.
You guys are ranked for the first time in a long time. Is there a sense of pride that comes with that, seeing that number next to your name, or is it just something you just look at it and just keep it moving, don't think anything of it?
Well, I think, for our fans and our players' families, anything like that is always great. For us, the ranking at the end is what matters, and we understand that. I've been on teams where we've started 6-0 and we lost the next 6. I've been on other teams where we've started bad and we found a way to win a lot of big games. So this thing can change really fast. And as soon as you think that you're comfortable going in the right direction, you're going to get hit in the mouth and knocked to the ground. So we got to push forward. This team we're playing, if we're not really ready to play and hitting on all cylinders, it'll be a long day, and we have to play really good football in order to win. And I think we know that some mistakes we've made in the last few weeks, we've got to correct them and try not to allow them to happen again, and really play a tough brand of football if we want to win against Notre Dame.
With the 5-0 start, and then this is a national TV game against a team like Notre Dame, how have you noticed more response from recruits and stuff to what you guys are interested in, and how big of a showcase will this game be for what you want to do?
Well, I think so. I think the recruiting is always important. That part has gone pretty well to this point. Everything matters. Developing relationships, winning football games, showing to them a plan for them to help them achieve their goals, get to the next level, and we just got to continue to work through that as we're playing during the season. And then, of course, whether it's high school recruits or transfer recruits, we've got to, be in the ball game and ready to compete. And so, yes, winning matters. So I think it's important that we go out and play a good brand of football this week and try to find a way to win. And, if you just keep pushing forward, the recruiting can pick up even more. And, we've got, I think, a good plan together to try to do the best job to continue to bring in great prospects that want to be a part of it. And we got a lot to sell with a tremendous stadium and great fan base and good young, hungry players and coaching staff that I think works really hard to help develop our guys and do it the right way. So everything matters. And, of course, winning football games is very important.
Jeff, how much did you maybe deliberate doing something other than kicking a 53-yarder, and any hesitation there in sending Brock out there, having already missed one in that game?
Well, you know what? I always want to kick because I feel confident that Brock can kick it out there pretty far, and he's got experience. I mean, anybody that can punt and kick and do all those things, he's a really tough young man and athletic. When we decided, there was a little debate of whether that was too far, and I think Carl may have said to me, "Are you sure you want to kick?" And I said, "You know what? Let's." I'm not going to say I was 100% for sure, but I said, no, we need to go try to make this kick. I've seen him kick it this far before and try to get some points. And luckily, sometimes it works, it doesn't. But, the one he missed earlier, he didn't hit it solid. I thought he rushed it just a tad bit, and it was from there, it was just like, hey, just get a solid foot on this thing and kick it out there. And he got a solid foot on it. So, of course, it helped us win the game. And but Brock's been steady. I mean, he's I know he missed a one, but he's been steady and he works really hard, and he's a valuable component to us winning football games. He helped us win the Georgia Tech game, and he's just been a really good kicker through 5 games. Thank you.
Yes. Yep.
Your brother responded to one of Alexis' questions. But it's important to coach with importance, and it's important for players to play with importance. As a
Which part? Sorry.
Like, which one,
To coach with it?
which one is more important, like, in the game? Coaching with importance, or the players playing importance?
I think we all got to do our part, right? I think it's important that every aspect of the team is treating everything as seriously as they can and giving it all their effort, because it takes everybody. It takes all the coaches, all the players, takes the signalers, everybody being at the top of their game for us to execute at a high level. Yeah, that's important, though.
You look at Notre Dame and their personnel. What stands out to you in terms of the strengths of their defense?
Yeah, they got good personnel. They do they play a lot of one-on-one football. They're going to play quite a bit of man coverage and let their pass rushers rush the passer. They're very good in the interior. 56 and 99 inside are two really good defensive tackles that have some explosion, that have some quickness, that have been trouble so far this season. Centers and guards have had trouble blocking them, so we definitely got to be keyed into those guys. I think number 27, the middle linebacker, runs the ball. They run the ball fast. Number 8, he's got some speed. He's running down guys on film. And then their secondary, they cover well. So it's definitely going to be a challenge for our offense. I think I think we're up for the challenge, but this is definitely one of the faster and more physical defenses that we've played to date.
As I recall, you gave some pretty serious consideration to attending Notre Dame when you were coming out of high school. Can you sort of explain, especially growing up in a Catholic environment, the mystique, so to speak, of Notre Dame, and is it still out there?
Yeah, I think Notre Dame, just obviously the history that they have in their football program, dating all the way back to basically when football began. They've always had good teams, good players, Heisman Trophy winners. And then obviously being Catholic and being raised Catholic, an institution like Notre Dame with being Catholic and being so good at football, it's definitely a big draw, I think, for any young man, that, especially a good football player or also a Catholic, to go there and to play in that big-time atmosphere. It's a national program. They got a national following. They'll probably have, I know we're going to pack the stadium. They'll probably have some fans sneak in here for the game as well. That's a big-time place to play, and it's a big-time program to play against. I think our guys are excited to be on that national stage. Obviously, Notre Dame, it raises the stakes just a little bit when they come to town, where everyone gets excited to play them. Because they're a good football team, number one, but also the history behind the program. Just seeing that name on the jersey, it makes the game a little bit more fun, makes it a little more exciting, and our guys will be up for it.
Brian, early in that NC State game, you guys got the ball to Nate and Josh Lipson early and often, or tried to early and often. Was that based on what you saw against NC State and how you wanted to attack them, or are you guys trying to get the tight ends more involved in the passing game as the season goes on?
It's kind of just the way it goes sometimes. We're always trying to get those guys involved. We're a big feed the studs type of offense where we're trying to get the ball to our playmakers, but the ball got spread around quite a bit. I think 11 guys caught passes against NC State, so it got spread around a good amount. I think our offense just does that. It's naturally built in where those guys should be getting some balls, getting some catches, and they did a good job with their opportunities, making the catches when the ball's thrown to them.
Brian, you mentioned obviously this is a pretty high-profile game, and it always raises the stakes when Notre Dame comes. Your number is going to be honored before this game. Just how much more does it add to that honor that you get it done before a game like this in front of a sellout crowd?
It's a huge honor to have my jersey number going up in the Ring of Honor. It's there's obviously a lot of great players that have played in this program, a lot of great names that are up there on the ring, and a lot of great names that haven't been up there that are going to go up there at some point So it's just, no matter what game it was before or when it happened, if it was now or 20 years from now, I think it's just a huge honor to have. Had a lot of good times playing in this program. We had some good teams when I was playing, a lot of good players that I played with. So a lot of credit goes to, a lot of other people that helped me get up there. But definitely it's a huge honor, and it's fun. Yeah, it makes it a little extra fun to have it on such a big game. Man, a lot of memories have been flooding back since being back here coaching. And it's kind of funny. They have actually, I don't know, I didn't ask them to do this or why, but they have the film on the system all the way back to 2004. So, like, I can actually, things I probably wouldn't remember coaching somewhere else. We'll be talking about something. You know what? I think we ran this play, and I can actually pull it up and show the guys. So that's made it kind of fun and kind of cool being back here. It definitely it jogs your memory a little bit. Obviously, being back in the same building that we were in when we were playing.
Ryan, you guys have been able to obviously have, put up a lot of scoring. NC State's a little different, but just in terms of this offense and what you guys have been able to do, what is the key to, I guess, getting everybody to gel, and especially when you have so many new guys coming in and just kind of getting everybody.
Yeah, it's always a work in progress. You're always trying to get better. You're always trying to gel better. You're always trying to make sure everybody's on the same page, that we're all tuned in, we're executing at a high level. And we've been really good at times this year. I think the Boston College game, executing at a high level. The first half against Indiana, I thought we were executing at a super high level. And we want that to be how we are all the time. Now, we know that obviously is not realistic probably to do it every single time, every single quarter, every single time you're out there. But I think we've shown what we can do when we're locked in, everyone's doing the right thing, everyone's on the same page, and we're gelled together. So we need to make sure that that's happening most of the time, if not all the time. And we've had a little slower game last week, so I think guys know that we can play better, and hopefully they come out this week and practice and make it happen this week.
Notre Dame currently ranks 12th in the nation with only allowing 9.7 yards per pass. Given your experience at the quarterback position, how do you plan on counteracting that? Are you planning on running the special plays?
We always get some special plays. We always get some special plays, but they're very good on defense. I mean, that's very evident when you watch the film. They're very fast. They're very physical. They're a good defense, and then they're going to be a challenge for us offensively. But we're up for it. We're looking forward to that challenge and see how we match up against these guys. But they got good players, and they play fast, and they're coached well. So definitely going to be a challenge.
Jeff had mentioned he thinks he could have done a better job maybe helping Jack handle the blitz a little bit better against NC State. Is that what you saw when you look back at it, or is it, you make a better check at the line, or what did you see out of that?
Yeah. We got obviously they brought a lot of pressure. NC State obviously brought a lot of pressure, and there were some moments there where we could have done a better job of maybe putting them in a little bit of better situation of maybe adding a few extra blockers in there to give us a little bit of extra time. There was a time where we ran a wrong route and something, and then we ended up fumbling. So Jack, I think Jack's play, he has been a little bit up and down. Obviously, the Boston College game shows you what he can do. In this game in NC State, he actually, if you break it down play by play, he made a lot of very good plays. It was just and I told him this in the meeting. I said the bad ones were just very bad. Like they were those ones we can't have, right? So we got to protect the football. We can't have some of those turnovers. Definitely down in the red zone, and he knows that, and he understands that, and he's aware enough to where I know that he knows that before I tell him. Even so, so I think he's going to come out, have a great week of practice. He's going to be fired. This is his third time playing Notre Dame. So he's going to be fired up and ready to go, and he's looking forward to trying to finally get over that hurdle and beat these guys. Yep.
of the year for you guys so far. Everything that's going on around it, ranked matchup, sold-out crowd. How do you make sure that that doesn't get too big and you guys stay focused?
Yeah, I think, in preparation for this game, we're approaching it just like we have all season. Coach keeps preaching that it's a one-game season, so, we're just coming to practice every day, preparing, watching film, making sure the team's ready, and, we all know that nothing else really matters aside from what's inside this building, so we just kind of keep it that one-game focus and prepare like it's any other week.
Yeah, I think you just got to continue to prepare like it's anybody else. I think when you start to get outside of a mindset and you start to over-focus on a team and what they have to offer, then you kind of get out of your own scheme. We're just going to play our game and do what we've been doing all season, continue to play our ball.
Brian, you're a multi-sport athlete. Given what you do outside of football, how important do you feel playing that sport is, given the position you play?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think it really benefits me just as a whole athlete, being able to play another sport and everything that has to offer. It's very similar as far as, in the weight room, as far as just the whole athlete and kind of what I do on a daily basis. So, I definitely think with footwork, flexibility, body awareness, explosiveness, and so many other things that, they both complement each other and it helps me out in O-line play.
Were either of you guys recruited by Notre Dame? And considering their national reputation, national TV, Saturday night, does that add any juice at all to the game?
I guess I'll start. But both times around. I think it's an exciting team. It's a legendary team. So I wouldn't say it brings anything extra to the table for me. It's more of just another big game against a good team who's going to bring the fight to us, and we're going to make sure to give an exciting game, I think, for our fans, and like I said before, continue to play our ball, and we're excited here.
They recruited you both out of high school and out of Florida?
Yes, sir.
Did you visit either time?
I visited back in high school. Come the portal time, I think once I kind of found out Brohm was coming here, I think that was done deal, and we signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah, I was recruited by them out of high school also, took some visits there, but like Stephen, I wouldn't really say it adds any more juice than to this week than there already was. I think that, we all know it's a big game. There's, like you all said, there's a lot of hype around the game and everything. They're a really good team, and I believe we are as well, so I think it'll be a really exciting Saturday night, and we're excited to put on a show.
Stephen, in 2 of the last 3 games, the defensive line has done a pretty decent job at kind of bottling up the run for the opposition. How do you parlay that momentum against Notre Dame, where you have to face an offensive lineman who's an All-American and a really good power back in Austria Estime?
I think it's entire O-line along with the back, and the quarterback is a veteran. This offense knows how to operate at a veteran level all across the board. I think with that being said, the trenches is going to be where this game is decided on both sides of the ball, both teams. I think we have to bring it to them just like we've been doing. Like every week you try to limit your mistakes, but I think especially this week in a team that's so run heavy, we're going to try to limit our mistakes, play big in our gaps all across the board, and everybody's got to win their one-on-one matchups.
Stephen, before the season, you talked a little bit about what a unique place Stanford is, but they aren't all in football necessarily. To have this kind of game, this high-profile game, you're both nationally ranked. It'll be the first sellout in the stadium. Is this sort of like the perfect storm of things coming back together for you and coming back home?
Yeah, honestly, after last week, being away, I remember at Stanford, like Stanford's, I don't know if you guys know, Stanford's nickname for their stadium is the library. It's not exactly the most fun place to play at home. I really enjoyed away games there. But being back here in a place that I watched games growing up, and my dad went here, so being able to see this, and it's come full circle, being here with the Brohms and guys I've seen around over the years, and kind of being able to compete with this. I didn't really grow up a Louisville fan, but seeing how these fans come week in and week out and support us, and even on the road, I'm so excited for this week. I'm excited for it to be sold out. I'm excited for the juice that our fans are going to bring and how we're going to build off the momentum.
Stephen, obviously Sam is at a different program from last year when he was at Wake, but obviously Louisville did have a lot of success against him. Have the guys talked about that at all, or how does that kind of factor into, just the the vibe right now is in terms of what you guys want to do and getting to him?
Yeah, I think that's an inevitable thought on both sides. I think last year they had so much success against him as a guy, and whether no matter what, when you go against somebody the year before, they maybe rattled you a little bit, or they got to you, or however it may shake out. I think you always remember that in the back of the head, whether you had a good game or a bad game. You take what you learned from last year and you try to enter the next year with just some thoughts in the back of his mind. So I would imagine he's coming in, he knows who we are for sure. He's going to watch his film this week. He understands. But like I said before, he's a veteran quarterback. I would imagine that he plays through the jitters here. I don't think that's going to really rattle him too much. I think it's on to a new season for him. He's playing good ball, and I'm excited for him to play.
Your impression of ACC quarterbacks, and how do you feel like what you've seen so far prepares you all for a guy like Sam Hartman, and maybe for some of the other quarterbacks that you'll see down the road?
I think the more I see the ACC quarterbacks and the more we go against them here, just a lot of athletic guys. Whether some of them are more pro style, but they can all get away. With that being said, everybody can get away from you here. You have to aim high on the upfield shoulder. You have to be able to be ready to drop your hips and make plays. I just think that the ACC as an entirety, as a whole, has some really good quarterbacks. And this week against him, like I said, like I keep saying, he's a veteran guy, and it shows up everywhere in his games. It shows up in his reads. It shows up in how he's looking downfield, whether he wants to get the ball out when he's rolling to a certain direction, whether he wants to go for the run. He's a pretty smart guy, and I think pre-snap, he has a lot of things going through his head, and he's making decisions. He's a really good decision maker, and I think that he's, again, a veteran quarterback who's going to make plays, and we're going to have to do the same against him.
Stephen, Ramon Puryear is another guy who's local and off to a really strong start this year. Just what have you noticed about him, and even Brian, if you've noticed something about him that's kind of impressed you about him this season?
Ramon is a guy that I kind of knew coming in just from high school and stuff like that. He's a competitor. He grinds out everything. He finishes play. He's a big effort guy. Seeing that throughout winter, when I first got here in the weight room, getting into spring ball and into fall camp, he's just been consistent. I think that's a name that a verb that comes to mind, an adjective that comes to mind when I think of Ramon is Mr. Consistent. He's consistently putting on good tape and doing his job, doing his 111th, and I don't think you can ask for anything better. And his play this year has been fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's been one of the really consistent and reliable guys on the D-line. He's definitely made a lot of progress since he first got here, and even since when I first got here 3 years ago. He's made a lot of progress himself, and he's gotten himself to be a really, really good player and really reliable for our D-line.
Given you're from the city, do you feel like guys like yourself have added pressure from the fans to perform in big-time games?
I think if so, I think it's all self-driven. I don't think the fans are necessarily putting that on. I think our fans are intense all across the board. They're intense for whether you're from Timbuktu or whether you're from the heart of the city. They want to see you come out and make plays and continue to play your best ball. And we talk about that every week. Brohm brings it to us every single week. You have to play the best game that you've played to date. I'm not talking from this season or your college career. The best game you've played to date. Put it on tape every single week. And I think being from the city makes it that much better. Getting to compete in front of people who hometown this and play for these.
Yeah. A third. What kind of benefits, confidence, and
especially early on in the season. So you have come back. I think was huge for our team, and that just I think builds confidence. Locker room at halftime this past week was fantastic. We had leadership stays together, and it's something that's been as good as since I've been here. So I think that's definitely an area of the team, and I think that's a tribute to the staff and just the leaders on this team. And going into big games like this, it does give us some confidence and just guys next to us that we're not going to get down, that it's always a next play mentality, and we're going to give it 100%.
Dude, obviously, you guys are. Oh, sorry, dude.
I was.
Okay, I'm so sorry. But obviously, you guys are growing up here in Kentucky being 5-0. I guess what does that just mean or say about the state? Both of you guys have really big opportunities against two really good teams. So, or I guess, what does that mean to be able to have that kind of platform right now?
Great. I think it's great for the state. I think for a state that's always been this entire region, really, and to be able to play some really good football. Kentucky's had some good years. I've been watching from afar. They've had some good years in the past, and Louisville's been playing good ball. Schools are excited for where they're at, and they've got some great coaching staffs that are excited. State. That's all.
That if you look at recruiting rankings, I don't think player in the state. How do you explain the success at this point, and do you think it's sustainable?
Yeah, I definitely think it's sustainable. Staff does a really good job in recruiting, and just relaying what the city can bring. The value that they can add to the city. I think, like I said, they've done a really. I think that's a tribute to Coach Brohm and the recruiting staff that's been here, but has come in here and changed and improved the culture. Brought the Louisville pride to this program. Started out through recruiting, and they're communicating that well, and it's showing.
Pretty similar answer. I think when you get to college, he's playing their brand of ball. They're still. I'm a big believer in that. Football is football is football. No matter where you brand of ball, you have to learn how to compete in a little faster game. So all of the guys in that. So you see a lot of guys at the same place. It's a matter of how hard you work and the amount. I think that school does, regardless. In the recruiting game is amazing. Brohm is, even from my first experience with somebody who's personable. This entire staff, they're all personable guys that recruiting. There's kind of a back and forth. I want to hear on both sides, but this is a staff that and that they're going to have what's best in mind for you and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you. I actually grew up a really big Florida fan.